Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the minimum and recommended requirements GPUs in Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Beta. Starting with the minimum requirements GPU, the GTX 970, it released back in 2014, it's 11 years old. It's based on the Maxwell architecture, it has 1664 CUDA cores and 4 gigabytes, or should I say 3.5 gigabytes of GDDR5. And here we go, we're in the desktop now. GTX 970 is installed with the latest Nvidia drivers, which somehow it still supports after 11 years. You can see all of its specs here in Tech Power-Up's GPU-Z, and over on the left I'm pairing it with the i5-12600KF, which I will be using with the 3060 as well. So the system will stay the same with 32 gigabytes of RAM as well. And going over the settings with the GTX 970, we're at 1080p resolution here, utilizing the minimum settings preset with NIS set to native. So it's still 100% resolution scale, native resolution 1080p, and the rest of the settings are set to the minimum, which I feel like it's adequate for a minimum requirements GPU. Okay, here we go guys, we're getting around 60 frames per second. That's actually quite nice and right on point for minimum requirements. It does drop a lot though. Did you see that with the explosion dropping into the 40s sometimes? So it's not going to be a super stable experience, unfortunately, but it still should be a pretty playable one here with the 970, especially when we start utilizing a bit of oh boy, we're doing great actually. How am I not dead yet? Especially when we start utilizing a little bit of upscaling here in the form of FSR. I'm not sure if FSR 3 is going to be a great option for a 970 though. We gotta find out, of course, because this is an older GPU with an older architecture, and sometimes the newer upscalers don't work quite well with these. I feel like this is probably a VRAM issue, since this is a 3.5 gigabyte GPU essentially with 500 extra megabytes that are extremely slow, and maybe it's trying to utilize that slower memory and slowing down our performance by a lot. Sometimes it does that in a few titles with a 970. It's a little bit of a shame, but hey, it's an 11-year-old GPU at this point. Right now, in these days, yeah, that VRAM is definitely a bit of a bottleneck and an issue in some of the titles. But hey, that doesn't mean that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is going to be unplayable. Thankfully, it actually does work really well here. And also, this is the first time that I'm trying this reference cooler GTX 970, and it's surprisingly cool. First of all, it's at 60 degrees Celsius. For a reference design, that's actually really good, and it's surprisingly quiet as well. So I'm really in love with this thing, guys. I love these reference designs, the older ones from the Nvidia GPUs. Oh boy, okay, there we go, there we go. We're doing great, actually. We're first place in our team somehow. And I'm negative in terms of scores as well, so this is pretty terrible. 12 to 15. I probably picked up a ton of tags though, so that's why. Oh, come on, come on. So I'm playing the objective here. Oh boy. Okay. All right, there we go, guys. Good job, good job. Oh boy, there's another one. Come on. Oh man. All right, we're gonna lose this one by a lot, but I still think this was a pretty decent gameplay session here with GTX 970. 57 FPS average, 1% lows of 34. Yes, the slowdowns are super noticeable, which is a bit of a shame, but I played the game, I finished first in my team, which, well, my team wasn't really very good, to be honest, but hey, you can play the game with this GPU, that's great to see. Okay, so now I want to check out a little bit of FSR 3. By the way, XeSS does look better, but with these 900 series GPUs, it cuts your FPS by like half or more sometimes, so this doesn't work properly. Let's try out FSR 3 though on quality first. This renders the game at 720p resolution, then it upscales it to 1080p, and it could be a decent experience, right? If it's working properly, which I don't think it is because we're getting 30 FPS here, we would be seeing massive gains in performance. But again, probably not gonna happen. Let's see though. Yep, guys, so we're getting 50s here. that's really similar to what we were seeing, although this map is different, of course. So I'm just gonna set it back to NIS native for a bit of a comparison, and NIS native gets exactly the same FPS. And this is native resolution, of course, so it looks great. Frame time graph is a bit weird sometimes. Look at that. It was also like that in the menu, the lobby screen, you know. I'm not sure why that's happening. Probably just because the GPU is old and outdated and the drivers aren't really very optimized for it at all. FSR3 is out of the question, apparently. Let's keep NIS enabled, which I feel looks a little bit better than FSR1. And let's use it on ultra quality now, because we're just a little bit away from getting 60 plus on average. That should be doable here with ultra quality NIS, and ultra quality NIS once again does look pretty okay. I'm not sure about the actual resolution of the game right now internally before the upscaling kicks in, but I'll put it on screen, okay? And it's definitely higher than 720p resolution, you know, but it looks pretty rough. It looks way worse than something like DLSS with RTX GPUs, of course. There we go. Oh boy, still massive slowdown there when you get really close to enemies for some reason, guys. Yeah, that just tends to drop by quite a lot. It's super unpleasant. But hey, at least the game is playable once again with the GTX 970, and I'm not sure if it's the VRAM once again, because VRAM allocation is quite low over here. Oh my gosh. Okay, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Can still play, especially if you're not really close to the enemies, you know. Oh boy. Then the FPS don't really drop by all that much. Come on, there we go. Oi. Come on, but, you know, it's Call of Duty. There are situations where you're going to be, or plenty of situations where you're going to be very close to your enemies. So your FPS will drop and you will feel that slowdown once again. If they have this GPU listed in the minimum requirements, I honestly was expecting it to be at least a bit more stable of an experience, you know? I don't like that fluctuation there, constant fluctuation in the frame time graph. Ooh, that was a good one, actually. I'm not saying that this shouldn't be on the minimum requirements, but I'm saying that if they want it on the minimum requirements, they should probably optimize something a little bit better to run, at least without those big slowdowns on GTX 970. The thing is, it's very old of a card, I know. Many people don't use it anymore, of course, so I'm not sure if a lot of people will be playing this game with GTX 970. At this point, the game is more expensive than the GPU. I bought this one for $32, which translates into 20-something euros. Oh boy, bought it on eBay on dollars, but I actually paid in euros. Come on, my God. Okay, come on. All right, I was panicking a little bit there, guys. Oh, hello there. All right, massive frame time spikes there. But these aren't stutters, that's the thing. It's just slowdowns, which do feel bad, but not as bad as actual stutters, so I can live with it. It's not great. I would not recommend you to buy the game with GTX 970, but if you must play Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and you have this GPU, or close to this GPU, the minimum requirements, you know, you'll definitely be able to play this game. And I think like a 980 Ti, even with the slowdowns, shouldn't drop from 60 frames per second, so that's pretty good, right? Let's try it with quality NIS now. And this, okay, this starts looking pretty rough in the edges. I think at this point the actual internal resolution is 720p, okay? But it's being upscaled to 1080p. It looks better than if you just run the game at native 720, of course, as usual. Oh my god, they got a VTOL? What the heck? Okay, we're screwed. Maybe we should go inside, actually. Ooh, it's just shooting things at us. Alright. Oh man, we're just gonna get completely wrecked in this one. So this is a much better experience now with quality NIS, even though it looks a lot worse and a lot more pixelated, because the internal res is so much lower now. It does stay above 60 FPS more often. So that means that when it has those little slowdowns here and there in the frame time graph, you're less likely to notice them. So that's not too bad. Oh boy. Oh boy! Come on, there we go. Oh boy! Oh boy! Ah, come on. There we go. Oh boy! What is going on? Am I supposed to bring that thing there, or am I supposed to bring that thing to their base? I'm not sure. Okay. Maybe I'm supposed to go to their base with that thing. I did very bad things. Oh man, come on. Oh, come on, bro. Yeah, guys, this is being pretty enjoyable, actually. How are we doing in terms of the... Okay, 32 kills, 26 deaths, second place in our team in terms of score. And I'm not even playing the objective because I'm not sure what kind of mode we're playing. See, I'm not a Call of Duty person, alright? But hey, we did not do that badly, especially given our rank, right? Or our level there. We're level 5. Everyone in their team is above level 22 or 22. Everyone in our team is also above like level 13, and I'm second place, so not bad at all. So all in all, pretty enjoyable experience in my opinion. I would still not recommend it 100%, only if you plan on upgrading your GPU soon, you know. But if they manage to fix that stability issue and the FPS drops when you're really close to enemies and so on, I think this could be a buy with the GTX 970. And now we have the RTX 3060. This is an Ampere GPU from 2021, and it has 3584 CUDA cores and 12 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. And here we have it, guys. The RTX 3060 12GB is now installed with the latest Nvidia drivers. You can see all of its specs here in TechPowerUp GPU-Z, and we're pairing it with the same i5-12600KF and 32GB of DDR5. Okay, let's go for the settings, guys. We're at 1080p resolution using the Ultra Settings preset. The only thing I changed is I disabled depth of field because I don't like that effect. NIS is set to native, so still at native resolution here. And look at this. It's such a better experience than the GTX 970. I mean, it makes sense, obviously. This is much newer of a GPU. It's a lot more powerful as well. Still has a little bit of a slowdown, but it's not doing weird things on the frame time graph this time around. It's just lowering performance because it's lowering performance at times. Still, is it the end of the world? Definitely not. It's still going to be very smooth indeed. Game looks great as well on ultra settings. You're not missing out on much compared to the maximum settings in the game, which are the extreme settings. Okay, and come on, the guys are right there. Let's go. Good stuff. Oh, not from behind. Bastard. But yeah, it's much more stable, as you can see, and this is definitely worthy of the recommended requirements GPU in this game, guys. Because look at that. It's playing it flawlessly. It's even better than recommended requirements, maybe, because usually you think about like 1080p medium or high settings, and we're here at ultra settings with the 3060. Obviously, you can still play it at the low settings if you want to go for a more competitive experience, and I'll do that in just a little bit, alright? But this is already really good, and this map is also a little bit more intensive than the ones that we tried with the 970, but I can't really control the map that we play on, so it's just random. It looks beautiful, though, this one. I really like the colors of this map and the vibrancy of it. Yeah, so if you're into the Call of Duty here, obviously your GTX, RTX, ah, god damn it, Beetlejuice got us there. Our RTX 3060 will definitely handle it like a champ, because it's not really that old of a GPU. Although, is it though? It's from 2020 or 2021. Yeah, I guess it's getting quite old, isn't it? But it's still very good in performance. That's what matters, you know. And those 12 gigabytes of VRAM are also super handy. Look at the VRAM allocation there. An 8 gigabyte card would start dropping a few frames here and there because of 8 gigabytes of VRAM, basically. This one has plenty of it, no problems whatsoever for ultra settings. Come on, come on, okay, come on, okay. Ooh, that was awful. That was really awful, actually. Anyway, guys, it's a really enjoyable experience here on ultra settings already, but I want to try it out on minimum settings with normal textures still, because I want to keep that texture resolution intact. But yeah, let's see it at 1080p minimum, NIS native, for a competitive experience, and this way we can also compare it to the GTX 970. Let's see how much of an improvement the 3060 is. Alright guys, here we go! Look at those very high FPS. It's really good, right? 100 and... I just threw that. Why did I go there? What the hell? Oh, hello! What the heck? Okay, camping bastard. Camping bastard right there. Anyway guys, it's much better of an experience than the GTX 970. Obviously, it was much better already on ultra settings, but now that we're using the exact same settings, it's a different map, yes, but they all perform similarly, aside from the previous one that we just played on the RTX 3060. That one was a little bit more intensive. But yeah, it's getting 138 FPS average, 131% lows, no slowdowns at all, which is how it should be on a first-person shooter, obviously. And it looks like crap basically right now. But if all you care about is that competitive advantage over your enemies and a high refresh rate experience, really smooth one, this is it. It actually will get close to maxing out a 144Hz monitor at 1080p resolution. 120Hz is also going to be fully maxed out here all of the time. Yeah, you can definitely enjoy a really smooth gameplay here on the RTX 3060 12GB. Let's try it in another map. I'm gonna search for a map that we've played on the 970 as well. Okay, so this is the same map where we tried the GTX 970, and on NIS native low settings, it was getting 60-ish frames per second, you know, 55 FPS. This one is getting 130s. Once again, very similar to what we just saw in the previous map, guys. But yeah, it's a big difference. It's more than double the performance coming from the RTX 3060 comparing to the GTX 970 here. So recommended requirements, definitely a lot faster, which is to be expected again. 970 is 9 years old, 11 years old actually. Alright, there we go, finally back in action. It's been a while. Oh, come on. Of course, that guy just comes there and kills us. Oh, boy. Also, very interesting. Yeah, this map has a lot of little details here, and I like the tone. I like the vibe of this map here. So yeah, guys, this is it. You could also utilize some DLSS here, but DLSS runs pretty much the same on quality, that is, as NIS native. So there is no real point in testing it or playing with the DLSS. I think that might be a little bit broken, actually. Maybe they'll fix it. I hope they do. But for now, this is pretty much the best way to play this game if you're after a high refresh rate experience and low settings, native resolution as well. My god, we're just getting wrecked right now. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this look at the minimum and recommended requirements GPUs here in Black Ops 7. Very interesting results that we saw, both from the 970 and the 3060 here. This is a pretty well optimized title. I mean, it even ran at 50-ish FPS. We got pretty much the same FPS that we saw with the 970 at NIS native, with the GT 1030. With like 640 by 480 resolution, but still, that's impressive from a AAA title that released in 2025, right? Or it will release, actually. It's still a beta. We gotta remind ourselves, this is still a beta as well. So things can still improve, however, they probably aren't going to improve. Because from experience, at least, the betas are pretty much how the game will run at release, unless there is something really wrong with it. And I mean, we could say that stability on the minimum requirements was really wrong, so I hope that improves. But at least the 3060 performance upon release should be pretty much the same. Thanks for watching again. Catch you in the next one very soon, and as always, love you all. Bye-bye.